Automotive trend.
Honda Jazz Sport Hybrid. The new Honda Jazz Sport Hybrid is currently the title bearer of Malaysia's cheapest hybrid vehicle. Priced at Rm84,880 on the road without insurance, Honda Malaysia HM opened the floodgates to a whole new pool of individuals who are eager to embrace electrified motoring. However, while excitement brewed, the company remains cautiously optimistic with a monthly sales target of 150 units, 250 units for the city hybrid, and that's for the whole of Malaysia, mind you. Hotshot critics with Business Insights will have you believe that it's a pessimistic target, but it's in many ways a calculated measure of acquainting hybrid technology to those who are genuinely interested. Plus, it could well lay the foundations for future hybrid model to come, not too dissimilar a strategy from the Civic Turbo's introduction prior to the CR-V, considering the increasing variety of electrified vehicles within the automaker's portfolio. Just a few months ago, HM announced that both hybrid models received a collective booking of 1,200 units, with the city accounting for 61% of said figure. That's to be expected in a sedan-loving market also. We've exhaustively reviewed the city hybrid, so what else does the Jazz hybrid have going for besides being cheaper than its Buddha twin? Well, let's see. In terms of powertrain, the two share the same naturally aspirated 1.5-liter DOHC Atkinson cycle 4-cylinder unit electronic fuel injection, PGM-FI, producing 110 PS and 134 Nm of torque. Atkinson cycle engines are typically more fuel efficient, hence the lower output. Unlike the previous generation Jazz IMA's 1.3-liter i-dcd engine, this requires just 4 spark plugs, 1 plug per cylinder instead of 8, so you'll no longer face a near Rm1000 bill for a replacement set. The output figures are lower compared to the regular version's 1.5-liter SOHC engine, 120 PS, 145 Nm, but thanks to a 22 kW 29 HP and 160 Nm electric motor, its total system output stands at 137 PS and 170 Nm of torque. This makes the Jazz hybrid one of the most powerful cars in its class. Honda claims it's a match for a 1.8-liter motor, losing only to the Renault Clio GT line's 1.2-liter turbo, for which makes 120 PS and 190 Nm of torque. Close behind is the Ford Fiesta Sport Plus 1.0 EcoBoost with 125 PS and 170 Nm. The Jazz hybrid's nearest rival, the i-dcd hybrid, draws power from a 1.6-liter direct injection engine, 105 PS, 147 Nm, that's married to a more powerful 44 PS/170 Nm electric motor, giving a combined output of 141 PS and 265 Nm of torque, although the cheapest i-dcd costs almost Rm16,000 more and competes in the less competitive C-segment category. The Jazz's electric motor is the same patented high-tech stuff as the city hybrids, and it's made completely without toxic rare earth metals. Now, the i-dcd motor puts out nearly twice the torque compared to the Jazz IMAs, which made just 10 kW and 78 Nm. And is only 13 mm thicker and weighs 2 kg more, 16 kg. It's built directly into the new 7-speed dry dual-clutch transmission, previously a CVT, and permanently attached to the first gear, driving the front wheels. A new and larger 0.86 kWh lithium-ion battery, which costs Rm513 to replace, if necessary, is tasked with juicing the motor. but overall dimensions are smaller and it weighs less than a 0.58 kWh nickel metal hydride in the item A. Lithium batteries are made of carbon and very reactive lithium, making them denser storage units compared to the heftier nickel and metal construction of NI Marshall Islands batteries. It also benefits from quicker charge and discharge rates. The battery pack is stored under the boot floor just aft of the rear seats and, despite the smaller packaging, boot volume is still slightly compromised, down 49 liters, now rated at 314 liters. When fully charged, the battery gives between 1 to 2 kilometers of pure electric range, and it also functions as a power unit to keep the electric compressor and electric water pump running. The former, which costs Rm for $192.40 inclusive of GST to replace should it fail, ensures that cold air will always be available even when the engine is turned off, something the Jazz item A sorely lacked. The whole i-dcd system adds about 77 kilograms to the car's weight, 1,158 kilograms. It's based on the Jazz E, which weighs 1,081 kilograms, so managing the extra heft calls for minor tweaks to be made to the suspension. Upgrades here aren't as extensive as the city hybrids. The front and rear shocks are standard but have been stiffened with new coil springs, and between the rear axle sits a new performance rod to keep suspension movements in check. The revised suspension translates to a slight improvement in the right and handling department. The Jazz hybrid can now handle spirited driving more competently, but all-out sporty driving is still better experienced with the city hybrid. Both models, however, get a quicker steering rack, 14.7 versus 16.7 ratio for enhanced steering response, although a slight increase in twitchiness can be experienced at higher speeds. Like the Jazz S and E, the Jazz hybrid rides on smaller 15-inch wheels with higher profile 175/65 tires, the combination of which lends a hand to a pretty decent ride quality. It's nearly indistinguishable from the standard Jazz 2, soaking up road undulations more delicately than the city hybrid, which rides on 16-inch wheels and stiffer dampers. As for safety, the Jazz hybrid is equipped with the usual anti-lock braking system with electronic brake force distribution, vehicle stability control, dual ISOFIX anchors and 4 airbags. At the end of the day, it's a tussle between need and want. The Jazz hybrid is perfect for those seeking maximum practicality and fuel efficiency, whereas the city hybrid is a no-brainer option if sporty driving is of the person's foremost preference. Whichever you gravitate towards, you won't go wrong with either. Choosing between the hybrid pair and their petrol-only variants, however, is more complicated. On one hand, we now have the two most affordable hybrid vehicles in Malaysia, but on the other, they are less well equipped compared to the top V versions of both models, for around the same prices. Having V-spec hybrid variants would be ideal, of course, but would customers be willing to spend more for a tax-free hybrid? It's obvious that Honda Malaysia has settled on a small compromise here: E-spec hybrids at V prices. As far as the powertrain is concerned, the hybrid is far more capable than the standard petrol, but you do have to pay a little extra for it and accept the slightly pared down equipment list. Thank you for watching this video. See you next time.